Hey everybody, this is Ted Forbes from The Art of Photography, and welcome back. And our week is winding down, and I wanted to do just a very loose, off-the-cuff vlog episode today. And I want to talk about some things that we've talked about recently to kind of follow up, some requests I've gotten, some things like that. So bear with me on this. This episode is going to be very raw and very uncut. And you guys don't know this, but because you don't see the behind the scenes, but I'm going to share it with you anyway, because if we get interrupted, I'm just going to keep going. When I left my job to do this show full time, it was really exciting, but now I work at home. And I'm very lucky to have a nice loft, and I'm kind of in the downtown area, and they are resurfacing the street outside. So here I am running a video studio doing this show for you, and I am constantly interrupted by busting up of concrete, large machines that suck sewage, you name it, it goes on. There is a guy who drives a Bobcat out front and likes to just back up all day. And when he backs up, it makes the beeping sound. And then he scrapes along the pavement when he's picking up rocks. Anyway, needless to say, recording for the last 2 months has been one of the biggest challenges I've ever had, and it's just the space that I have and what we're dealing with right now. They are about 6 months overdue on the street. It's way over budget. In fact, they're even canceling parts of the project, so hopefully they will be done here in the next month or two. My fingers are crossed, but I don't have a whole lot of faith at this point. But anyway, this is what I go through to bring this show to you. Anyway, if we get interrupted today, I'm not going to stop. We're going to keep going. So you may hear construction noises because, yes, they are out there today, and they were noisy earlier, and I just thought, you know what, I can't wait all day to do one little vlog episode because I want to share some stuff with you today that is very important and very cool, very photography related, and a lot of follow-ups on what we've been talking about lately. So let's get right into that. The first thing I want to mention is Atlanta. I will be in Atlanta next week, and we will do a meetup, and I have got some of those details for you today. So if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, or it is close by and you would like to do a meetup, we're going to do that. The reason I'm going to Atlanta, it has to do with actually the show. I'm going to be filming a short documentary, and I'm still kind of working with what I'm going to do with this. But a couple months ago, we did a show on a photographer named Win Bullock, and Win is an amazing photographer. These color abstracts that he did. And we did a show on that, and I talked about the importance of these. Well, wasn't paying attention. There is a show going on at the High Museum right now, and I got an email from Wynn's daughter, Barbara, and I shared that email on the show. You can go back and watch past episodes because they're all there. And, you know, she was really sweet and very lovely. She's an incredible person herself, and she was very appreciative of what I had done talking about her dad, really liked the show, and, you know, had invited me to Atlanta. Well, when I shared her email on the show, I made the comment that, you know, this is like no budget over here in terms of video production. So if anybody had any ideas of how we could do something in Atlanta, well, a gentleman by the name of Brendan Pyers stepped up to the plate and just sent me a large donation that covers just, well, most of the production on here. And it was a huge gift, and very humbled to have gotten that. And of course I emailed Brendan back and I said, well, hey, you know, we definitely got to do a meetup then. It's the least I can do. Maybe we could hang out and I could thank you in person. I'll introduce you to Barbara and whatever. And he doesn't live in Atlanta. He lives in Australia. He just thought it was a great idea and wanted to give to the show and let me do something that we're not able to do. So big thanks out to Brendan Pyers for doing that. He got me close enough to where I'll just cover the rest and we'll do the trip, and it'll be amazing and fun. And I think we're going to get some good stuff out of it. So it's a tight kind of window that I'm going to be in Atlanta, but we do want to do a meetup. And so what we're going to do is I'm thinking most of the work I'll be doing will be at the High Museum. Friday night, and this is next Friday, so this is October 10th, 2014. October 10, 2014, they do, and I can't remember what they call it, it's their late night event, and they call it, well, it's their late night event. Sorry, this is very unpolished today. But anyway, and basically the High is open late on Fridays. I think they call it Friday Night Lates. That's it. And they do charge admission at the High. And so, you know, I know it's not a free thing, but it is half price after 4 p.m. on Fridays. So this will get us in for half price. So ticket will run you around, I think they're like $20 regularly. So this will run you $10 for the ticket. What this does, though, is it gets you into the museum. We'll be able to see Win Bullock's show. Barbara and her sister are going to be giving a lecture that night on what it was like to grow up as Win's daughters. The curator, Brett Abbott, will be talking. And anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff. And so I think this would probably be a great place to do a meetup. Now, what I'm not sure about right now is the time. And I would like to do it, you know, 4:35 in the afternoon, but I know that's a little early for some people to make it. So probably what we'll do is bump it closer to 5:30 or 6. I know there's probably gonna be traffic. The High is open until 9, but I wanna make sure there's enough time to see stuff. So if you can't make it right then and you wanna come late or something, that's fine too. You know, we can communicate via Twitter or whatever works easiest for you. So I will have information on the website, which is theartofphotography.tv. I'll have it on the homepage as soon as we get the time set, but that will be Friday October 10th, 2014, and that'll be for the high Friday night lates. So anyway, that'll be fun, and we can kind of hang out. They have a photography collection at the high. I don't know what they have out right now in their collection, but they have some wonderful art. So let's go look at art together. It'll be fun, and we'll have a good time. So I'm looking forward to that. So this next week is going to be pretty busy getting out to that. Don't worry, I pre-recorded some episodes, so you guys will have plenty to see if you are not able to join us in Atlanta. Second thing I want to do is talk about I started a series of shows and then it kind of took a turn, and I want to talk about that because several of you have asked me about it. But I was talking about creative process and an image from start to finish, and I still plan on finishing this series. We just haven't gotten to it because time has been tight lately. And I also want to do it right. And so if you haven't been following that, I will put some links to videos down below that you can see. And basically what the deal was, I started the whole process of conceptualizing a group of images. Well, this was for a specific project, and the loft building I live in turns 100 years old this year. And so some of the residents that live here, we're organizing an art exhibition that we're doing, and the art exhibition is actually tomorrow night, so I'm right on the deadline. And what happened was I kind of bit off more than I could chew with this project, and the idea was to do portraits of people in the building. I will continue and I will finish the project. It's just not going to be for the opening of this show. So, and the reason I chose to do that, and you know, I'm human like everybody else, and time is of the essence, as was space limitations and some other things. And I wanted to do this project right since we were chronicling it in the show. So we will continue to do it, and I will finish out those portraits. It's just going to be after Atlanta. That's just the best I can do. But what I did do, and I'll share with you today, is I went through some images I shot recently because I wanted to put something in the show. And I decided to do two things. I've lived here for 10 years, and I've got some old pictures from a barbecue that we did almost 10 years ago. And so we're gonna put together a time capsule, and this is, you know, kind of goofy, but it's a photography thing. So I had 8x10s printed at Adorama, and I just had them sent to me, and I'm going to put those in the time capsule. I thought that would be cool. I'll sign them and then label who we know is in the images. For the big image that I'm putting in the show, I decided to do, because I'd never really done much with metallic printing before, and I'll tell you what, let me get it and show it to you, because that'll probably make the most sense, and let's talk about that. Okay, so this is the print that I got made this week that I'm going to put in the show, and like I said, I have not done much metallic-based printing before, and it's kind of a newer thing that's available, and it gets interesting results. Real quick, I'll talk about the image and then some of the process and how I had this done. So the image was, you know, just an improvised, sorry, I'm trying to get this in so you can see it. It's an image I shot in New York when I was there week before last, and I was goofing around, and I had, you know, I was doing B-roll for some stuff, and I had my camera with me, and I was doing some shots with actually an old C-mount TV lens. It's not even an old one, it's one I got on Amazon very cheaply, and the thing's a piece of junk, and that's why I love it, because like you open it all the way to 1.7, I believe, and you can, it doesn't stop at infinity focus. You can roll it past infinity and stuff like that, so you can get some really weird effects. So there's no post-processing blur going on here, but you look like you have a really shallow depth of field with just some of the funky areas. Even sometimes when things are on the focal plane across the lens, they don't stay in focus. So, and I love it. I love bad effects like that, and I love that lo-fi quality. So that's what I did. I went ahead and had this printed on metal, and I had this done by Adorama Pix. And like I said, the issue that I had was time on this, so I needed to get something done, and I needed to have it ready to be mounted. And so it's really cool. You can pay a little extra. The metal prints, and you can see this is literally printed on a sheet of metal. They have a really interesting vibrancy to the color. I'll talk about like my impressions of what I think about these in a second. And they do actually put this mounting block on here too, so I can just put nails in the wall and hang it. It makes it really easy. So the reason I did this was, you know, basically I've been really busy doing the show and other things, and so I was a little bit out of time, so we had to make some adjustments on what I was actually going to put in the show. How do I feel about metallic printing? I think for the right image, I think it can be really interesting. It's the first time I've done it, so I don't know if this is the greatest image to show that off or not. I don't know. The other thing that I've had a little bit of an issue with, and this is just going to be more personal because I'm a little bit more old school as a photographer, and it's not a bad thing, but you know, what I like about photography is producing something in the darkroom myself with my own hands, and this is not. I did this, I sent it off to Adorama and paid somebody else to do it. You feel a little bit removed from that process when you do that. It doesn't mean it's bad, but it's just very different for me, and I'm trying to get my head around some of that, of whether I'd want to do much more of that in the future. I don't know. I mean, you're still controlling the post-production on the photograph. There's not a lot done on it, but anyway, and sending it off, and then you could do a smaller proof, and if you want to make further adjustments. I didn't on this one, but they did a really good job on it. Adorama, they're very fast. The pricing on it, metal prints are a little more expensive because you're paying for the metal material, and it's got a coating on it. There's 4 different finishes you can choose from, and I'm trying to keep it from glaring. I did an anti-glare, which works pretty well when it's under lights, and I'll do some B-roll when we set up for the exhibition. We're setting up tonight. We're hanging the show, and we'll do another vlog, and I'll talk about the show, and you guys can kind of see what all went into it when some other people did too. I actually had 2 of these. Maybe there's another one too, but I think this is the better of the 2. That's why I'm showing you this one. So I don't know what I'll put in the show. It'll either be this one or it'll be the 2, but it won't be the other one on its own. But anyway, very cool process. I think that the metallic thing, it's because it's so new, I'm wrestling with, is it a gimmick or not? And I don't think it is. I think that with the right image, it can have a really neat effect. It would be really neat to do black and white on these, and particularly if you're doing stuff that is kind of in more of an antiqued looking style where you want kind of some of that sheen, that throwback thing, like a style like a Joel Peter Witkin or something where, minus the freak show aspect of it, but the fact that it's kind of this vintage looking, kind of surreal, alien, metallic looking image anyway would look really nice on a metal print. So anyway, they're not horribly expensive, but they're not horribly cheap either. But check it out. And I did that on adoramapics.com, and literally I just uploaded a JPEG of my work, and this is what came out. So pretty cool stuff. Anyway, there you have it. So that's what I'm putting in the show, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be fun. Just to mention a couple more things to you guys, and I know these shows because they're not really topic specific or really for you guys that are hardcore fans, and so just another thanks to you guys for watching. It means a lot to me. This channel's done really well. I'm really proud of some of the work we've done. I'm interested in doing even more with it. And one of the things I'm trying to do here in the fall, there's a lot going on. I want to increase the production value that we're doing in the show even more. I want to make it a little more narrative in some ways when we get into especially photography. So there's some changes that we're slowly working on making. I don't want to do anything too quick and then not be able to sustain it. Also, the show's website, I think it needs something to it. Right now, we just have the shows there, but I think there needs to be something extra for you guys there that we don't do on the show that we don't really do with video. We'll still leave all the videos there. But anyway, there's a redesign coming up with that. But most importantly, we're doing 4 shows a week. Well, 3 shows a week. I did 4 this week. So I've really stepped up the production and the frequency that we're going to cover these. Since we've added those, I've kind of added some new topics that we're doing based on some responses that I've had recently to things that have done very well. And one of them is photography promotion via social media. How does a photographer achieve success with doing that? And so we're going to do kind of this Art of Photography Pro series. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about selling your work. We'll talk about the professional aspects of things. And we're also going to do some post-production kinds of stuff. Maybe some of it will be darkroom related, some of it will be digital related, but we're going to tie that in as well. And it's funny because you put up one video of something that's kind of new and everybody's like, well, are you abandoning the old stuff? I hope you're still going to do artists. And of course we are. In fact, I have a cool episode we're doing next week that's really long on Heinrich Kuhn, who's one of the early pictorialists, Viennese photographer from Austria. I think he was originally from Germany, but he lived in Austria and just does these amazing early autochrome color stuff. We've got an episode on Fan Ho coming up that is by request, and so we've got a lot in the hopper. So we're not abandoning anything. I'm just adding more to the mix. And one of the things I want to do with this show is try to get new people interested in it. And sometimes we need to talk about topics that are a little more mainstream. And I don't mean to say that what I want to do is sell the show out, because it's not that at all. But I think that we do a pretty good job of talking about a lot of things that are photography related, and I want to add some new things into that mix. And so that's all that is. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited about what we're doing with the channel, where it's going. We're not even halfway to what I really want it to be, and I don't want to share too much of that because, like I said, I want it to evolve a little more naturally, and I don't want to change things up so much that I'm just unable to sustain anything. So we're slowly getting there, but it's starting to happen. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. I can't believe we have not been interrupted with construction, and I wasted all that time telling you all about that, so I'm kind of sad that they didn't deliver on that. Actually, I'm not at all. It's nice and quiet here right now. I've gotten really good at gear shifting. When I can't do a video, I start researching or do more planning or work on business stuff, or anyway, all that to say, it's been fun to say the least. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great weekend. Later.